What's good, Black Stop Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Jared. And first, let me explain something to a lot of y'all. There are a shit ton of commenters that love to keep talking about stop defending or stop talking about what's going on. Now, this video I'm gonna play is gonna be from Man's Guide, and he's about to show a clip of a woman that's a little delusional. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share my screen if it's not already shared. Yep, I'm sharing my screen. We're gonna go here. Let's go.
Her parents and future kids could be proud of her. She's probably the type of girl that advocates for respecting women no matter what. Or she can be topless, feminism
Modern day men's liberation movement is gaslighting.
Gaslighting. Yet another very popular, yet often misused buzzword.
The men's liberation movement hinges on the crux that men have such tough standards put on them by society.
That's because they do.
In that original video, he reads a book about men's liberation that was from the 1960s that talked about how men unalive themselves because the standards are so high for them. Well, since the 1960s, male suicide rates have only gone up, but the standards for what men are supposed to do since the 1960s have literally crashed and burned.
Have they? How so?
Reminder, 1 in 4 American children are completely fatherless. The men have completely abandoned those children. I'm talking financially, emotionally.
And I suppose that's entirely the men's fault, is it?
But yeah, we men still have to work. This comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I wish just one man who preached about men's liberation would just read. Just read the data around you.
Is anyone else wondering when the gaslighting part is going to somehow come into the conversation?
The norm in America is that families, both spouses, work. That is very much the American norm. Oh, and on top of the women working and paying the bills, they also are doing the overwhelming majority of childcare, housework, the cooking, the cleaning, the emotional labor.
Emotional labor. Well, that's different.
So if I hear one more man in this men's liberation movement talking about the mental health of men because, oh, we're working so hard.
No worries there, because now one is going to hear from a woman.
What are you talking about?
Is one asking that question because one is failing to understand what they're talking about, or because one is just trying to downplay it?
In 2023, it is women who are expected by society to do everything.
Everything, huh? Seems like that goalpost was just moved.
Have a full-time job, to be pregnant and push out a baby and go back to work. 12 weeks later, working full-time, pumping every 2 hours, paying half those bills, being a hands-on mom, cooking and cleaning for her family. Oh, and fucking her husband still. But please, men's liberation movement, tell me how hard it is to go to work and pay half of those bills and how hard it is for you men. This is a reminder that you live in a world of your own creation. If you want to believe that men are just, oh, it's so hard on them, you're gonna believe that if you've decided to believe that.
Just like one seems to believe that women are expected to do everything, right?
Why believe that when there's so much data out there that would show you, damn, men actually aren't even doing the bare minimum nowadays?
I think we're going to need to hear it from a subject matter expert like oneself. What exactly is the bare minimum that men are expected to do? That hasn't been mentioned yet.
They're abandoning their kids. America is #1 in single mother households.
I know that one doesn't really want to hear this, but those single mother households do have something in part to do with the choices that some of those women make.
American men are a joke.
No, they are not the joke here.
But we have intelligent men like this man who's in medical school, who just drones on and on about the men's liberation movement and how hard it is on men nowadays. And oh, the mental health of men because they're expected to do so much. What are you talking about?
One could have actually figured out what they were talking about if one had actually been paying attention and listened, instead of trying to spend this entire time disproving and downplaying the issues that men actually have to face every day.
You are living in a world that you have created. You are reading books from the 1960s. We don't live in that world anymore, buddy. From this point on, I am no longer ever going to use the term men's liberation movement. I'm going to call it the men's gaslighting movement. That is what it is, and that is what I'm going to call it.
Interesting choice. However, the ironic part is that one didn't actually point out anything that men are doing to gaslight anyone. However, that entire video was actually a demonstration on what gaslighting really looks like.
The dumb or ignorant feminist in the orange claims men don't work hard. A question for her: who legally mines the rare minerals her phone uses so she can record herself mocking men's mental health? Who's more likely to have a shelter if they get evicted because for every 1,000 women's shelters, there's only one men's shelter? Who can look average and spread their legs to make 6 figures being a digital stripper? And feminists are the ones who championed for years that women can do everything. Men aren't promoting boss bitch lifestyle on social media. And the women on social media who do everything don't work a real job. Being a professional influencer isn't creating a part for a machine that builds the brakes for a car. And most career women demand that the house chores are split up with their husband. That's why they chose the career, so they can avoid motherly duties. Also, men traditionally do chores for the home, like mow the lawn, fix the window, change the light bulb, or build a new deck. Even back when they were the sole provider, a deadbeat mom can receive child support and welfare, while a deadbeat dad will be thrown in jail for not paying child support. Not only that, they'll take away his professional licenses and his driver's license. The only time a man does the bare minimum is if he's a Chad or Tyrone who's unemployed, but feminists still let him raw dog them on the first night, and he leaves when they get pregnant. But then, the same feminists will demand a man to become a cuck, aka a stepfather, who has a 6-figure income, a car, and a house, just to raise Chad's and Tyrone's kids.
So why are you not?
So, you heard all of that. You heard all of that. So, let's have that conversation, shall we? This is why men don't really listen to what women gotta say, because none of it makes sense. None of it's actually based upon logic. Women typically say that men have it typically easier than they do. But what a lot of women fail to realize is that majority of the work that's done to build society, not even majority, pretty much all of it, is done by men. See, what a lot of you ladies don't realize is men have a lot of stress on their shoulders, especially when it comes to building society, which a lot of you do not. A lot of women are in the cushy jobs and complain when something does not go the way. I believe that. If you want men to say that women have it tough because they're women, what a lot of you ladies don't realize is that these very men that you're so adamantly claiming is trash or has it easy, you don't see the fact that the phone you use, the components and the raw materials that were mined and crafted were crafted by men and mined by men. There are no women that goes into those mines to mine cobalt, to mine lithium, to mine silicone, to mine the different sands that is used to create your glass. See, what a lot of you ladies don't realize is that you sit in your little cushy job in your office making 6 figures an hour, making 6 figures a year, not doing anything, sitting on your ass sipping a latte every day. You, ma'am, are out of pocket. And let me explain why. You're out of pocket because you do nothing. See, as Man's Guide explained in the video, you literally can go online, spread your legs, and make 6 figures. There was a woman earlier in that video that was talking about she She did all these damn degrees and still ended up being on OF. Now, mind you, she has hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and could have been a scientist for NASA. You don't understand the stresses that men have to go through every day. I know it seems easy to you because you seen it from the outside, but there's a lot more stress that men go through on a daily basis than worried about our fucking makeup and the way our makeup is done. Sorry to tell you that. We have to worry about the safety and security of our families. We have to worry about the different situations that can happen that could potentially take us off of this planet and leave our families vulnerable. We have to think about all these little different things that could potentially put us in harm's way. And we have to worry about our families being safe, being secure, and being financially stable for our families in order for us to thrive. You think it's hard being a man, when in fact one of you ladies, there was a lady that dressed like a man and acted like a man for 2 years, and she deleted herself because, you guessed it, it was hard being a man. Why do you think there's so many trans women nowadays? Let's be honest. They don't want to be men because they know, they can see how it is. We gonna keep it a buck here. There is so much societal pressure on men nowadays that a lot of you ladies don't even understand. You think it's easy for men to just do anything. You think it's easy for men. It's not. And that's what a lot of you ladies don't understand. It ain't easy for men. Never has it been easy for men. We make it look easy because we have to do it because it's the way that our families stay safe. We have to do it because it's who we are as men. These little spats that we get into in the comment section, believe me, I enjoy seeing people freak out and go get mad about it. I enjoy that because it's honestly quite funny to me. But overall, it only proves my point when it comes down to the reality of the situation itself. Men talk about things that are critical because it could potentially be something that could be life changing. If a man is out here telling you that something ain't sounding right, it sounded a little suspicious, sounded a little suspect. There's a reason why that man's saying that, because something isn't sounding right. There's a reason why everything happens is said the way it's said. Men don't pull any punches when it comes to talking to other men about it. The only reason why a lot of you ladies are feeling upset is because men are not pulling any punches anymore with you. Men are not pulling any punches with you. And the problem is you're mad because nobody's pulling any punches. It's time out for the pulling the punches because, let's be honest, you don't understand what men are saying until we start telling you how it really is. And getting raw, down, dirty with it about it. That's what a lot of you ladies don't like. So, again, this is why men don't listen to women and don't trust women when they start talking about stuff that's like this. Because none of it makes sense to a lot of men. And men are starting to see that a lot of you ladies is capping when you start talking about this bullshit. You capping. I mean, fine, so be it. Cap all you want, but hopefully you don't get humbled while you're trying to clap back. But anyways, like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast, subscribe.com. I will see you guys on the flip side, and thank you guys for listening. Bye, guys.